Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shebo. Today is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. It is election day in the United States. It is also no longer daylight savings time in the United States. I didn't really mention it last time we met, and I didn't really post it on Discord either, but yeah, everything should now be aligned. And going forward, the time should be consistent. Why, hello, my Ollie. He brought his baby. He's got his baby here. Hello, big boy. I'm realizing I don't actually have the camera on. Let's turn that on. We can see the baby. Hi. There's Ollie. He's being violent. He's being a little violent. Hello, Ollie. Yeah, that was teeth. Hi. You've got your claws. You've got your claws on me, my boy. Where's your baby? There's the baby. There it is. There it is. Hey yo. Papa. Get your baby. Get your baby. Go get it. Big boy. So, the music at the very beginning was, of course, the reproductive center. I just had to do it. I had to. I had to. Because it's that good. So I spent a long time over this weekend on the map. The map is a bit different from compared to last time. Hello, Ollie. That's an Ollie. There he is, grooming. Don't know where your baby went. There it is. There's the baby. Hi. Oh, swiping at me. Yeah, swiping. Oh, now he's got it. He wants to play. I want to play. Hey, big boy. I want to play. Yeah, it looks a little different on the map from compared to last time. We are 82 hours in, close to 83 at this point. Last time we met, I set up PyScience 1. Right here, we got PyScience 1. I set up Vrauk and all that wonderful stuff to get into latex and eventually into glassware, as well as the basic substrate. Got all of that stuff done all in one stream. Processed science. I now have every single science that I could take. And he's off to the races. Okay. We are left with Ollie's baby. He left his baby behind. Hello, good morning, welcome. I have all the text I can currently take at this point. It literally, the last one just popped at the beginning of the stream. Or at the beginning of the day today, when I loaded up the game to continue working on a few smaller things. In particular, just to... Gosh, where do I even begin with all of this? Let's start with saying that I am on the beta build of the PySuite at the moment. Because the beta build that is currently available through the Pi community Discord has a few breaking changes, and I wanted to make sure that I installed the update so that I had the weekend time frame to fix things that broke. What broke was everything using a TAR processing unit, because the TAR processing unit is now a different model that is significantly larger than the previous one, and certain steps along the tar processing into pitch line now require a tar processing unit as opposed to a DDC. So this line here that was processing into creosote, that needed to be fixed and replaced with new tar processing units, as well as the production of treated wood that uses a tar processing unit that needed to be fixed. And over here with this shale oil, this step now uses a reformer rather than the vanilla oil refinery. The vanilla oil refinery is being removed completely from the game, and they just replaced that like one recipe that used it with the reformer. So we do need to be able to build the reformer. I am able to build the reformer, clearly. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other adjustments that have been made in the update. Like shale oil output from kerosene was increased. The material cost of the retorter decreased. And yeah, it's a very good update, and by very good I mean it's gonna get nerfed before it releases. I can practically guarantee it at this point. So in particular, there is a little paceman that I'm gonna read off of all of the updates that have happened in this beta build, and we'll see how many of them actually make their way to the live branch here. So Og manure recipes have been added, and they're actually apparently too good, so they're going to get a little bit nerfed before they release fully. Added small parts to loader redux loaders, apparently. Added mechanical parts to the retorter. No, that's not actually true. They reduced the steel and the pipe requirement for the retorter. Added missing caged Vraux to Arcod raising recipe. Okay, added missing saturated Nexalate cartridge to CO2 filtration recipe. Added Muckmo manure recipes. Added night lights to several machines. Added Russian translations. Added steam depressurization recipes. Adjusted rocket silo inventory size to 50 units. Hello, Ollie. He hath returned. The Ollie hath returned. Hi, big boy. Full of energy. He's full of energy. Yes, you kill your baby. Crush, kill, destroy. Where was I? Change tailing ponds icons to not scale with building size. Okay. Oh, you know what added the mechanical parts? It wasn't the retorter, it was the reformer, I think. No, that's not mechanical parts either, so I don't know what got mechanical parts, because that's another thing that we'll have to talk about at some point. We need these things. We will need these things going forward. You need them for the heat exchanger. And biomass and coal and oil power plant, tidal power plant core. And salt mines. They corrected a typo in steam temperature of anthracene to anthraquinone from 105 to 150 degrees. Fixed an internal code error related to ingredient replacement with normal and expensive mode. Fixed sand classification, had a double unlock in separate text. Okay, just various fixes. I'm looking specifically for balance. Increased Carrigan to shale oil output to 250 from 100. That's a big change. That's a rather sizable change. They moved anthracene oil to the carbon black, to the reformer. So anthracene oil making carbon black is now in the reformer. And they moved anthraquinone from naphthalene to the reformer. moved milk barreling and unbarreling to the barreling machine, of course. Moved several the recipes from the DDC to the tar processing unit, etc., etc. As we've looked at already, they nerfed landfill from 50 units of each ingredient to 30 units of each ingredient. So, landfill is a little bit easier to attain at this point, and is one of the big reasons why I went to this beta update, because 30 is a much better number than 50 units of stone, gravel, and soil. Pitch cracking coke output has been reduced to 10 units as opposed to 30. So when you are processing tar now and you are processing pitch, you will get significantly less coke on the output. It apparently makes it a net negative on power, so you can't really use it to produce power, I guess, which is what some people were doing. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't produce enough coke to produce the steam to sustain it, is how I can better word it now. Previously, it produced more than enough coke to produce the steam to sustain the tar cracking, and it had a net output of coke on it. Now, not so much. You need to get the steam from some other process, or supplement with some other process. They reduced Carrigan to shale oil recipe craft time from to 5 seconds from 15. So the individual buildings for the Carrigan processing, they now can process 5 units per second of Carrigan each, and I've definitely made use of that. Reduced output of Moss Mark 2 through 4. Interesting. As if it needed a nerf. Yeah, the new tar processing unit recipe. The next big thing is yeah, they removed cage probabilities. They removed cage probabilities on the Vraux and increased output pretty much across the board. It's very, very interesting. The reformer apparently used to require intermetallics. It no longer does. And the reformer also apparently needed lead and titanium, which it no longer does. Muckmo breeding apparently required manure, and now it no longer does. Same with Og pup breeding. It no longer needs manure. We no longer have the vanilla refinery, and tailings pond apparently holds more now. Okay, after all of that, yeah, we can have a few discussions on some of the things that I did between streams. I posted my notes on this, of what I did, on my Discord server, but just in general, I now have burners. That was key piece of infrastructure, very, very key piece of infrastructure from last stream into this stream. So a lot of aspects of the base have changed and improved as a result of just having access to burners. A lot of stuff that was not technically infinitely automated is now infinitely automated thanks to having burners. Excellent. We now have it. It's great, magnificent stuffs. It means that on, say, this, or I should really say on this, on raw coal DDC processing, we can get rid of all of the stupid iron oxides now by burning them. We can also, burn the ash into ash, and then burn the ashes, and the ashes. Ah, boy, yeah, it is a thing. We can absolutely burn the ashes now. We just have to make sure that we burn the ashes that have a chance of outputting from burning ashes, as well as the ashes produced by the solid fuel burning on the burner, which is why I have to have inserters on these builds to output ash, because the inserters can pull from the fuel ash as well, the spent fuel inventory loaders that I have installed. These specific ones, deadlocks, they do not output from spent fuel inventory, which sucks, but oh well, just have to design around that. But yeah, you can probably see right here that things got a little bit crazy over the weekend. I did a few things. I did a bit of scaling. Just a little bit of scaling over the weekend. So besides fixing the tar processing and the shale oil, and making some tweaks to the Vrauk, which we can go and we can have a look at the new Vrauk. I fully anticipate that this is going to get nerfed before release a bit, because it is a little strong. The reproductive center recipe will now always output both caged Vrauk, so you no longer have a 1 or 2 on the output. You do always get the caged Vrauk back at this point, so it's a pretty simple filter to just feed it back. You really only need, like, I guess you want to have 4 at least in each of the buildings that you use. So this is just going to net your Vrauk cocoons out with a simple filtering of the empty barrels. Oh yeah, we just... I did a little trick here. I actually chose to blacklist the caged Vrauk so that it would output the other items, and I whitelist the filter caged Vrauk here on this. So little trick there to make sure that yeah, we can do this in this way. So that's a really good thing. That's really nice. We don't need to supplement caged Vrauk into our cocoon manufacturing at this point. But this is the thing that I think is going to get nerfed a little bit. So they made it so that the base caged Vrauk recipe, the very first initial one, always outputs 4 caged Vrauk. So it's no longer 0 to 4, it's just 4. My expectation was like 2. So yeah, we get 4 now, and it makes this pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Yeah, I've got a few caged Vrauk stored at the moment, just in case. But yeah, it's pretty strong, considering you don't need to feed this back into the reproductive center anymore. You can just directly use these output caged Vrauk at this point. I mean, it's a lot of native flora, but you can just mine that. That's just a mined resource. So, it is 10 cocoons to 4 Vrauk. I don't know, maybe the material costs make sense. Whatever. Yeah, just, 0.5 caged Vrauk on this most basic of recipes, which, by the way, the Vrauk food recipe gives you 10 now. That gives you 10 if you add food. But even just the basic one here, it's... to get 0.5, that's 40 paddocks on that basic recipe, so I guess even with 4 to get 1 latex, it's still going to be fairly significant infrastructure. Alright. I thought it was fairly high at 4, but no, the numbers still are fine. If it's 40 just to get 1 latex, then yeah, it's It's fine. The way it is. On the basic recipe. The improved recipe with food, which granted food is not cheap. It's also more cocoons. That brings it down to 16, but you do have to, make the food, which is Faugi, and you have to like get Faugi in the first place. You need to get tree seeds. You need to or bring wood in for tree seeds, and you have to have agar provided, and it's cellulose. So, this is somewhat reasonable, although, 0.5 Brauk from 0.1 food. They might need to increase the food a little bit, not too much though. On that, everything's gonna change at some point anyway. So why bother even talking about the individual numbers when literally everything is going to change. Okay, I scaled power. I scaled power just a little bit. I made a blueprint with steam engines taking in raw coal and copied it a few times. Just a few times. All of this is power producing. Just a few different designs for power. We are currently able to produce up to 846 megawatts. I'm using about half of it at the moment. And then these 6, aka 12 belts over here, this is for steam. This all is for steam. It's a bit over 1,000 steam per second of potential production. I'm using 700, a little over 700 per second of this steam at the moment. For this shenaniganery over here. Over here, I have a combined landfill production, which currently has 29,000 units of landfill sitting in the box. It's about 1 per second. About. Not quite, because there is a little bit of inefficiency in here. Even with putting the things in boxes. Just because it's not sorted output, just, the mechanics of it not being sorted makes it so that there is some slowdown on the splitting on here. So not quite exactly 1 per second, but yeah. When this eventually fills up, all of the stone is going to get voided, or at least 4 of the 5 lines of stone is going to get voided. And in the meanwhile, all of the kerogen is being converted into shale oil. Now, I'm bringing in the steam separately rather than using the kerogen to make the steam. And the reason I did that is because I actually need all of the shale oil that I can get out of this system to process it into aromatics. I am actually processing this specifically for aromatics. I am overflow voiding both of these though, so that I can maintain 125 gasoline per second as well as the 250 aromatics. Why do I need so much aromatics? I will need a bunch of aromatics to make rubber. Of course, there's the zinc mining, but I don't really need this much for just the zinc mining. I really do need it though on rubber specifically, so that's main reason. I need another 50 just to get half a rubber per second. And my ultimate goal here is to eventually get up to 1 latex per second and, half the rubber. I haven't done the 1 latex yet. I'll need to do that at some point. I would like to get into rubber today, but that is not going to be our main goal. Our main goal today is to get into intermetallics, which, yeah, that's a bit of infrastructure, and it will involve this gasoline. Let's see, what else? Electric mining. I've got electric mining on most of the things in the base. The only exception here is copper that I haven't really touched yet. We'll need to at some point once we actually have a larger demand on the copper, but what we have a large demand of right now is iron, and I have begun processing the iron by crushing it into processed iron and directly smelted it. I can, however, go into molten iron, and that will be a significant efficiency increase to the output of the iron plates if I can get enough borax to do so. We need to process borax, but that'll be after intermetallics. Like the next step after intermetallics on today's agenda is to get into borax mining and processing so that I can set up some molten processes. Speaking of not molten processes, I am doing the grade 1 tin processing setup at this point. We're processing about a belt, I think that's a belt, of tin into like 2.5. It's a whole belt of tin into 2.5 per second of plates for this phase of the game. Similarly, down at titanium, I am doing the initial setup processing titanium. I think this is grade 3. Yeah, I think that's a grade 3 titanium into plates. It's making like 1 per second on the titanium from grade 3, from 5.22 titanium ore. Of course, using the Mark II fluid mining drills. These are electric fluid mining drills. That's how you can really think of these. These are just electric fluid mining drills rather than burner fluid mining drills. And I apparently have enough titanium at the moment, as well as enough lead. Lead is much simpler. It's also like pretty productive. I actually like the lead these days. You do get a fairly good ratio here. It is 2-to-1 on like this first processing step, and it's not that much infrastructure either. Of course, we're only making 1, but compare that 1 lead to the 1 titanium. There's a bit of a difference there. Now, granted, lead itself needs more acetylene to mine. This one is 10 per mining operation versus 4 on the titanium. So there's that to consider as well. Okay, did all that. Got the... Ahem. This is 1,000 tar per second. This shenaniganery was to get 1,000 tar per second. And yet again, we have a bot. Goodbye, bot. Goodbye. So long. Yeah, so 1,000 tar, which also, translates to a lot of coal gas. It's a lot of coal gas. 1,000 tar, 1,661 coal gas to work with. So I have enough syngas to do all of the mining that I need to do today. I will have the capacity to add enough syngas. So yeah, there we go. I've yeah, that took a little while. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm just going over some of the things that I did between streams here at the start. I scaled the science a little bit, not too awfully much. For automation science, I made it so that I'm getting at least 0.3 per second, and yeah, it's a few units of raw coal getting processed here. It is, I think, a total of 15 belts getting processed through 45 DDCs. It's nothing by comparison to the steam and power from over here, which is processing more than 30 belts. More than 30 belts. Yeah, actually more like 40 plus belts of raw coal from over here. Yeah, just a little bit of raw coal mining needed across the base at the moment. So I got automation science scaled by 50% more. Now we were at 0.2, now it's about 0.3. The Pi science I have also scaled. Theoretically, I'm having a little bit of a problem on Petri dish production. I need to scale that up a bit more than what I have, but I want this to be at 0.2. And the reason for that is that I will be going for 0.1 logistics science when I can make logistics science. The key thing about logistics science that I've discovered is that the numbers involved are actually very decent. They're very, very decent numbers. The exception being rubber, but that's always going to be a bit of an issue to produce. Outside of rubber, all of the individual ingredient costs are pretty low. They're actually pretty low. It's just the sheer quantity of steps involved that's what makes this science a little bit harder. YouTube is telling me it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I completely disagree. I have 0 drop frames. So that would be a YouTube problem, not me, at the moment. And I know that my system is running fine. There shouldn't be any issues. So yeah, this is definitely a thing. This is definitely a thing that we will need to get into, but it involves a lot of animals. And these animals require getting into cDNA. And the cDNA is going to require a lot of things that we don't have. Rubber, hot air, antimony as well. We need to get into the antimony. It's a bit of a process. So we're not going to get into logistics science today. We're likely not going to get into logistics science on Thursday either, just because of the time it'll take to process and build out the animal infrastructure, the initial animals. So, at the very least, by the end of next stream, I want cDNA. If not today, I don't think we're going to get it today because of, rubber. Big thing there. Instead, what we're going to work towards is intermetallics, which are needed for a lot of the infrastructure going forward. Now, I've pretty much talked about the various stuff that I did between streams. The rest of it is just scaling of various things like syngas, moss, wood has been improved, seaweed has been improved, plastic has been improved, steam is dedicated now. We looked at the aromatics and gasoline. I did automate more things down here, and I moved the duralumin down here. So I automated my splitters and my loaders, as well as electric inserters, my nanobot ammo, burners. That took a while to store up a whole bunch of burners and used a lot of my steel, all of my steel. And I've got like boilers and steam engines as well down here, just to grab onto, because as it turns out, steam engines are an ingredient for many further pieces of infrastructure. Many buildings use steam engines for whatever reason, and lots of them sometimes. And I'd rather not handcraft them when building these things. Okay. I have access to geothermal at this point. I also have access to, once we get intermetallics, a few additional sources of power. I'm not sure if I really want to do it. If anything needs a gearbox, though, I can't do that yet. That's going to require fish. Yeah, Electronics 1. Those are going to be the next, circuit, essentially. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult to make because you cannot handcraft these. And they use circuit ingredients. Basically, everything about this is circuits. It's just another circuit. Except it's electronics and not circuits. Okay. Fine. Whatever. And there's 4 mark levels of these. And there's like multiple gearboxes and control panels and brakes and like pieces of making wind turbines as well. I would like to make all of these, but we need antimony to even get into the stuff here. It looks like we need melamine resin to even make the nacelles. Oh, do you not need a nacelle? No. You need the gearbox. You need the gearbox, and this one needs the nacelle, so it's either make melamine resin or make fish. Great. We could eventually get into a tidal power plant core, which I guess this is placed on water. Don't know how big of a water, like flat water space we need for this. But since I have landfill and apparently an abundance of shallow water, should be easy enough to set that up. But again, intermetallics, fish for gearboxes, etc., etc. The vitrolloy is part of intermetallics as well, so that's quite a bit. Need melamine, which, of course, if we're making melamine resin at some point, then that's going to be just part of that. So yeah, just, stuff things. Apparently the centrifuge was moved into Pi Alternative Energy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a building that had existed previously, but whatever. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that'll be helpful going forward is going to be locked by the intermetallics. Now, I want to point out something that was noted. I do have access to geothermal. I absolutely have access to geothermal. The problem with geothermal is I only have 3 nodes in the entire visible area of my base. Geothermal at this phase of the game, if I can find it among all these little steam engines that I have everywhere, makes 60 megawatts of power per node. Okay? It makes 60 megawatts. I don't know about you, but on a base that's using 400 megawatts, 180, while a chunk of the power pales in comparison to, my transition to iron plates, which is gonna, through molten, which is gonna be 328 megawatts of power draw. Okay? Like, that's part of the changes in the balance to the game with Pi Alternative Energy. Not only have there been more sources of energy added, the amount of power required has been increased across the board, so that you need to use the alternative sources of power, and you need to produce a lot more power. Ahem. So, all of that out of the way, we're also going to need geothermal for, as geothermal water for ingredients for Mark II buildings. That's the other thing. It's going to come up fairly soon for geothermal. I say fairly soon. It's going to take a little while before we're even remotely thinking of general Mark II buildings. But we need it for this organic acid anhydride. So that we can make parylene tetracarboxylic dianhydride, or PTCDA. Yes, that is parylene tetracarboxylic dianhydride. This stuff makes self-assembly monolayer materials. And this is an ingredient in multiple Mark II buildings. It is used for Mark II bots. It is used for chemical science packs. So, blue science. Blue science. It makes me wonder if we're actually going to be able to get into these Mark II buildings before blue science. I have my doubts. Considering they're requiring complex circuit boards, which, hey, that's a small modification to the icon. It was changed ever so slightly, but it was changed. It looks a little bit different than before. They didn't change the substrate 2, though. They didn't really change that. Or is that the same icon as the substrate 1 was? I don't remember. I mean, this looks familiar. These ingredients look all the same. They changed the icons on the medium power resistors and the electrolytic capacitors. It's requiring batteries now. Everything else looks the same as before. So that's actually not going to be that bad by comparison. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Let's get to work. Things falling everywhere. Let's get to work. I have pre-built the vast majority of the infrastructure that I'm going to need for today. Yeah, I sort of filled up my entire car with this. We are going to actually start the day today with Nexalit. We're going to start with Nexalit production. So we need Nexalit, I think, because we need it to actually make the intermetallics right in here. We need it to make iron Nexalit antimony special alloy, which combines with vitrolloy to make intermetallics. Oh boy. Yeah, let's get to it. I might switch these to gasoline as well, because I happen to have 125 per second production on gasoline, approximately. So I may as well use it for something. We're going to be using it for other things, and I think I'm going to end up actually using it as fuel for my car. Because, yeah, the car takes gas cans. And those canisters are always 10 megajoules. For reference, they're always 10 megajoules. So as long as you have the cans, you're good to go, and it'll produce an empty can, and you can just cycle the cans. I'm gonna actually probably want to build a few barreling machines, just to have on hand. But for now, we're gonna start with Nexalit, which means I'm going to need my tar. I'm going to need to find a path to bring my tar down. I'm going to start, though, by building out, the actual infrastructure for all of this. This is also going to produce a fairly significant amount of saline water. But we need to keep all of this in mind. I need 1, 2, 3. Give me my quenching towers. Quenching towers? Where are you? You are in here. There you are. Hello, quenching towers. Ba 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 ba. So we need the tailings. We do not need the ash or the flue gas from this. So that is going to be directly removed. Copy. I should be copying. Copy. Copy. There we go. I want to overflow on the saline and on the tailings so that I can swap my saline on cellulose production. So over here I've got this huge line of stone into saline. It's not a good recipe. It is not a good recipe whatsoever. So switching it to tar quenching saline is going to be definitely on the agenda. Where am I looking? Where am I looking? Here? It was it you? It was circuits. Circuits, I think. Was it? Was it though? I think it was. Circuits, back here. You. How much saline? On the cellulose? It was 12 and a half. It was 12 and a half. Saline. Actually, it was to produce the copper zinc batteries. It was 12 and a half for the batteries, and then right, because I'm doing cellulose a couple of ways. For the science, I produced cellulose through sodium hydroxide, which needed another 27 saline. So, producing 150 is going to be enough to cover all of the saline demand currently on the base. Of course, I will want more scaling. And, of course, there is soon going to be melamine resin in the base, and that has a better Formica recipe. Am I on the beta? Yes, I am on the beta. I stated this at the very beginning. But yes, I am on the beta. We can see that clearly by the new tar processing unit existing. The new tar processing unit exists, therefore we are currently on the beta, because I don't think that it has released quite yet this breaking change. Okay, I need to actually get this down here, and I'm gonna need more inserters. Gonna need more inserters. No, I need more pipe to ground for this, because it is a bit of a hike to get the tar down, and I'm gonna have to like do it way off to the side as well, because I don't have that much space on the other side, unless I just go around everything else on the other side. That might be what we end up doing. Come on, sneak my way through. So there's tar there. So what I'm thinking with this tar, because there's essentially no way I'm going to be able to bring the tar in on this side down here. I'm going to have to bring it like... Oh, God. Well, this line is clear-ish. Except for that. But where am I? Where am I standing? Here. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. Everything will be awesome if I use that spacing. No, not there. Yeah, nothing can go wrong with that. Let me just get these undergrounds. Get out of my inventory. Okay. And as I said, I do need more pipe to ground. So let's go and grab that from up here. Now, I want to make mention that even though I am on the beta branch at the moment, because of the changes to things like the landfill production being changed to 30 each rather than 50 each, as well as the braking changes that were made being fixable over a weekend, I don't necessarily intend to always be on the beta branch. That, depending on how often they have that up. Because yeah, if it's not going to break anything, then I'm probably not going to stay or go onto the beta branch. And even if something does get added that's breaking, if it happens on a Tuesday, I'm not going to have that update for the Thursday stream. It would be between streams on the Thursday to Tuesday, so I have the full weekend. Ahem, I want alignment. Whoopsies. Much better. Much better. Glorious alignment. Until it becomes an issue. Alignment. Alignment. And that's where it becomes an issue. Starts to, anyway. Whoopsies. Hold up. Oh, of course you're there. Oh, that's just wonderful. What the heck? Power? Yeah, I was thinking that should just stretch all the way down. And now the hard part is that every single other step along this pathway, because I didn't design this bus very well from the beginning. I didn't plan the bus at all, really. I don't need it to go very much further at the moment, but I may in the future need it to go further. So many underground belts not operating at their max length just to make people annoyed. Right, do I have a box? Do I have a box of you? I don't think I have a box of you. I think I need to add a box of you. At least so that I can toss the stuff in temporarily. Okay, that is the tar brought down. Now I need to bring it over. Beautiful. Let us figure this out now. The problem of not having any gaps is that I'm constantly gonna get moved by these belts. It has already been annoying. This belt is stacked stone. For reference, that's like the only thing I have being stacked through deadlock stacking. I did not intend on using stacking, but I decided, you know what, with the stone, it's gonna be required. So over here somewhere, outside of these guys, I've got the equivalent of 2 yellow belts of stone getting stacked, with all of the carriage getting destroyed, basically. It's just the stone output that I wanted from this. And it's getting used. It's actually getting used because I needed more than a belt of stone. Yeah, it's wonderful needing more than a full belt of stone. Okay, this is now moving. I need to output the soot. Oh. Right. That will do. Ta-da! Okay, soot. I'm gonna grab... I have a blueprint for this. I'm gonna grab you. So this is my generic item voiding burner array. It does need a fuel input. Yeah, let's just give it the raw coal. Sure. Wow, that's perfect spacing. Cool. So each of these gets rid of 3.3 repeating solid items that are not ash, and they make ash in the process. That's why this guy in the middle exists. This is just the ash burning building. And we can process like 2.6 repeating ash, I think. That's the number anyway. It's pretty quick at getting rid of ash. It just produces a little ash as well. That's why it doesn't match these. Because you have to burn your own ash. Oh boy, that's one. Oh, that's one each. Okay, that's gonna need faster inserters. Yeah, that needs some slightly faster inserters. These can do 1.2 per second. So they should be good enough now to get rid of this soot. Now, I want to make mention, this is actually a consistent source of soot. So when I get the ability to sort soot into gold, I'm going to want to sort the soot into gold. Just so as we're aware. Absolutely going to want to sort the soot into gold. Why? Because I will eventually need that for Bob's modules. When King Arthur finally gets around to actually fixing Bob's modules to work with the mod suite. Now, why did we need so much stuff? So much tailings? Well, it's because I need it for the ore, at least for the moment. Eventually, I will be able to just mine Nexalit through the power of drill heads. And I will absolutely do that preferentially, because that completely rids myself of, the need for a lot of tailings. This is the least efficient way of doing this, and I couldn't help but notice that they got rid of the tailings output from washing Nexalit. This used to output tailings, and you could at least get a little bit of a reduction on the overall tailings cost by cycling the tailings back, but no longer can you do that. It outputs muddy sludge instead of tailings. So no more savings. Nexalit! And we have to, of course, filter out the tailings dust. On the other side, and put it up there. And then we are, of course, going to wash our tailings. Give me my washers. So convenient having already built the infrastructure. Ta-da! Okay, that will produce washed Nexalit, or clean, the cleanest of Nexalit. And that can be directly cast in advanced foundries. Ta-da! How we doing? We're doing fine. We're doing fine. I have in fact voted. Just a reminder, anyone in the United States, today is voting day. I happen to live in a state where I could vote by mail, so I voted by mail. Well ahead of time. It's actually nice in Virginia. They had made a change where you could send in a request for absentee ballots that is perpetual, a perpetual request for absentee ballots. So now I don't have to do anything. They'll just send me ballots every year to this address, to me. And yeah, just need to have a witness to signature the envelope along with my signature, and there we go. You're done. Send it in. Prepaid envelope. You're not too familiar with Pyandon's mods. Do I ever get past yellow belts in the whole grand scheme? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. In fact, I have installed the ultimate belts mod. So I do intend on working with numbers greater than 15. Yeah, while at the start here, the numbers on a lot of the products that we're making are not anywhere close to filling out a yellow belt. The material cost of the actual ingredients, the actual ores, oh god, do I wish I had faster belts. Oh god, do I wish I had faster belts. Oh god, do I wish I had faster belts to not have to spend 22,000 yellow belts on a build. Anyway. So a new thing that needs to get added onto the bus. Glorious. Here we go. This process yet again. Why do I get rid of 4 units of belts? Is because they freaking contaminate the belt if I do otherwise. It's fine to have that there. There we go. You know what? You down 1, you over 1, and you down. Yeah, there we go. Excellent! It's on the bus now. Well, the key thing here is there likely will be a difference in design principles. Some people, when they get access to robots, will choose to just use the robots instead of belts in a lot of situations, particularly because of the complexity of some of these production chains. It is entirely viable to have blocks of robot-based production factories. I mean, of course, at your central mall or hub. I just find that I prefer rail-based factories where each individual factory is a belt-based factory and limit the robots just to producing infrastructure. For a long time. For a very long period of time. Eventually, I am going to need a lot of basic materials and get tempted by just using robots when they're actually good enough to support the increased throughput. At reasonable power costs and such. But yeah, there are going to be lots of times where I'm going to want to have faster belts. Now, there is something to be said about not using faster belts if you don't need the faster belts, because there's that aspect too. Chances are that person is using a lot more yellow belt than other types of belts simply because they didn't need to use anything greater than a yellow belt, and they chose to only use reds and blues, etc. when necessary. As a material cost savings strategy. And that is equally valid, because red belts and beyond, they're expensive to build. Anyway, that is Nextlet. Next, Next is actually going to be nickel. I will need a bit of nickel going forward. I don't quite remember. It is making the nitralloy. Nitralloy is where we will need nickel, and nickel is going to need me to pipe in syngas. Apparently, we also cannot directly cast nickel from ore. That's a thing that I noticed. There isn't a direct ore casting recipe for nickel anymore. You must go grade 1 on this. Okay, I need to decide what nickel ore patch I want to tap into, because we unfortunately don't have anything even remotely close by to down here where I'm ultimately going to need it. So I'm thinking of tapping this one. In particular, also there's antimony near this, and I'm thinking of tapping into one of these antimony patches over here rather than this one up here, because ultimately I need the ore to get, or I need the processed antimony to get into this section of the bus. So rather than have it up here and have to run, like, find my way around to get down here, I'd rather go over here and bring it in from the side. Fortunately, I don't need to worry about water anymore because I've got a few thousand units of landfill to clear the way. The only thing I need is, oh yeah, a whole bunch of belt. And ideally a bunch of nanobot ammo. So I'm going to grab some ammo. I should already have all of the infrastructure that I need to do this. It's just I need some ammo, and I need to have enough pipe to ground to run syngas all the way over to the nickel. Now, I will also note that there should be somewhere a source of chromium right here, and ideally, I forget what else is using syngas. Borax. Borax uses syngas. Unfortunately, there's no borax over here. That sort of sucks. There's borax way down here. And then there's borax up here, and there's borax way over here and up here. So I'm just trying to think, if I'm going to route a pipeline on syngas. Actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to barrel syngas. Yeah, and I should probably do this with, like, steam as well, because we need to run this pipeline a very long distance. Ugh. But that would need 2 belts. That would need 2 belts. And a lot of barrels. No, that's too much time, too much work. I might change to it between streams at some point, but for now, we're just gonna run regular pipe to ground. And I'm gonna grab, like, the rest of my inventory of pipe to ground. Oh yeah, gotta go around this entire thing. Or figure out how I can get back in the bus. I've got a bit of seaweed here. That's 44 seaweed crops. Ugh. all of it exists only in preparation. I can't get through here. I think I can squeeze through here. I'm free. Dang it. Alright. Park. Go over here, grab more piped ground. We'll be needing a lot of this. Trash. You're trash. Yeah, trash. Trash, trash. Not trash. More. All of it. Yes. Glorious. Pipe ground. Okay. Down we go. Let's get to syngas. I am going to have to continue to scale the syngas. I do have plenty of coal gas. I still hate that they got rid of tar to coal gas. Still a little bit disappointed about that one. Water is everywhere and getting in my way. Let's just run this way for a bit. And then I might have to run it down. I think I'll run it down here. Note that the antimony is going to be using gasoline. I mean, at least I wanted it to use gasoline, but since I'm bringing syngas anyway, maybe I should just use the syngas? So the thing with the antimony is that the drills run off of canisters, gas cans, basically. So you can choose whatever fluid fuel you want, as long as they're in a gas can, and the gas cans are 10 megajoules each, as I said, so they require differing amounts of fluid depending on the fuel value of the fluid. So a gas can that holds gasoline will hold fewer units of gasoline, or need fewer units of gasoline to produce, than the syngas. Stuff. Die. Die, rocks! As we go through a volcanic biome that is full of rocks. Also, slowdowns. Make it through. Please make it through. God, I'm gonna have to bring power as well, unless I run a long belt of ore. Oh no, I have to bring power because we're totally doing electric mining drills. We made it! About time, we made it to nickel. We made it to nickel, we have the pipeline here ready for chromium, and we have it ready for the antimony there. Gosh, I really wish there was a more convenient location on the nickel, but oh well. Oh wells. Give me that stack. I'm going to do all 10 of these fluid mining drills. Do I want them all on one side? Yeah, it's only making 5. Or... Oh look, more chromium. I'm gonna need more electric poles, I think, to reach the nearest electric line. So nearest one's over here, I'm pretty sure. We can show that. I'd have to draw a line from here to here. I think that this is shorter than from here to here. There to there versus to there. I think this is okay. Did I update my mods with the update they raised? Yes, I did. I went over what they changed as well. Key thing being the new tar processing unit breaking everything, and the change in recipes to use the tar processing unit as opposed to the DDC. That was one of the bigger breaking changes. Another technically breaking change was the need for the reformer as opposed to vanilla oil refinery on shale oil processing. And then they changed reproductive complex and Vrauk cocoon recipe and paddock recipes so that they no longer output variable amounts of cages. Ultimately, you will always get your 2 Vrauk back on breeding, and you will always output a set number of caged Vrauk through cages. Yes, I went over it in this stream. I brought up the I brought up the paste bin that sort of just copied all of the changelogs into one document. Someone posted that on the Pi community Discord on the thread for the beta update. Okay. Let's go ahead and set up the infrastructure while I'm here, even though it's not going to be powered. I'm also going to remove this, which is in the way. So that no longer exists. Thank you, Ore Eraser. So if you've been playing along, if you've noticed that there are a few ore patches on the map, on your map, that are not on mine, chances are they were there. I just erased them from the face of existence so that they're not in my way either. Oh yeah, that's a thing. We're gonna have lots of stone. We're gonna have a lot of stone eating up inventory space. Oh, and I actually barely even put a dent in all of this pipe to ground, so we get to put some of that away. Jaw crushers and advanced foundries. Oh god, that's a lot of advanced foundries. Where are my... Alright, there's jaw crushers, a few of them. Where are all of the remaining advanced foundries? There's 10. And I'm going to have to get rid of the stone. Now, here's something that I didn't really account for, but I do have extra washers, I'm pretty sure. In order to get rid of 1/2 of one stone, we could either burn it or shove it into a single washer to get rid of exactly 0.5 stone, and then dump the saline. which is exactly what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, this was nerfed on its speed quite considerably going into Pi Alternative Energy. Before Pi Alternative Energy and the overall balance changes came into effect, this was significantly better at voiding stone. And the gravel recipe was significantly better at voiding gravel. But yeah, they changed that a bit. They changed that a bit in an effort, A, to sort of get rid of that behavior for voiding the excess solid matter when you probably should just be burning it in a burner, but also as a way of making it so that you want to get your saline through tar quenching. Or through salt mining. Because previously, in order to get saline, it was actually fairly decent to simply mine the stone to make saline. That was actually a very valid method. But yeah, we're not gonna do that this time. Okay, you're gonna need to bring in 1.67. Okay, we're gonna deal with these guys. Basically, if it's a number that is greater than 1.2, I'm just gonna have loaders. And that is a number that is greater than 0.30, which means that a mechanical inserter will struggle. I'm going to use regular inserters on that output. So as I've mentioned previously, that you should know, mechanical inserters have a throughput of 0.6 per second. That is the swing speed. In order to do a full, rotation, to do that full rotation, it's 0.6 seconds. But if you're trying to move two products, you have to do two swings. So that halves the effective throughput per item that it can do. So if this mechanical inserter has to move two items, the cap is about 0.3 per item. And since this is more than that, it will struggle. It will struggle. Like anytime you get a stone output. I mean, granted, with that 50% on the stone, it can probably keep up, but I just don't want to worry about it. I don't want to worry about it being an issue. Down you go. Yeah, the updates are good. These beta updates are very good. It's just, I think that a number of them will get nerfed before they actually release them. Some of it is too good. Apparently the Og manure was too good, and it's getting a pretty big bat taken to it. Because let's look at it. Manure. So Og manure, we have access. Let's just look at the basic one. That's 3 to 8. You go from 3 to 8 to 5 to 12. Oh boy, when you add food. So 5 or 6, whatever, Ogs. Yeah, not like a full belt. Yeah, that's a bit strong. Even though it is like 55 and 27. That building counts a little low for the most basic of basic recipes for producing an entire belt of manure. right? So it's gonna get a bit of a nerf on some of these. At the very least on the speed. I would expect the speed to change because the cost looks fine to me. The actual cost in flora and moss, that is what looks okay. It's just this building counts a little low, a little low by comparison to the output for the most basic of recipes. What should it be? I think that this should be double. Like the time should be cut in half, or every input and output value should be halved. Oh boy, we are already halfway through the stream. Halfway, if you can believe that. Oh gosh. I'm gonna need to take a break here, but I'm gonna wait. Oh, it was 10. I thought that this was a different number entirely. I was, for whatever reason, my brain went 13. It's like, oh, this is an odd number, right? No, it's not. Okay, that line. What if they don't nerf it? Well then, great, but Pyandon literally said that he was going to nerf the manure. From Augs, in particular. Like, Pyandon legit said it's being nerfed, so that's what I'm going to go on. If it's not fantastic, I'll be very happy. If it doesn't get nerfed. Okay, where's my car? Car is over here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna run this belt and then take the break. So from here, it's mostly logistics. I have to run the power lines to power up here, and I have to run the belt all the way across and down and over to here, basically. So I have to run this belt. I have to run this belt, probably do that, and probably do that. Running this belt from here. Yeah. From here to here. Lots of belt running. So I will be back in just a few minutes where we will continue with this nickel and then antimony and intermetallics. I will be back shortly. And I have returned. Welcome back. Hope you enjoy the sounds of the reproductive center. Yeah, that one I actually had to go and extract the files just to pull in and add onto my Factorio playlist. Just the sound of that building. It is a 1 minute loop. And it is glorious. Why, hello. I have been joined by a dolly. Hello, my dolly. Hello, my dolly. She was in the bathroom resting on the hand towel on the counter with the sink counter. She was upstairs, up in the bathroom on the counter, on the hand towel, just on the towel. Hi, pretty baby. Focus. Itchies. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Yeah. How's the doll? Pretty girl. Yes, pretty dolly. We still have Ollie's baby here, huh? That one's Ollie's. Itchies? Itchy ears? Okay, what do we have to do? We have to get power. That's one step. Praying that I have enough power poles to run this diagonal. If I can even be diagonal. Oh gosh, I'm out of power. Whatever shall I do? As Dolly goes to the window. Okay, sure. Thanks, Dolly. Thanks for showing up. At least we had both of them show up. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. We've got enough. Where's that? There it is. Hello, power. And then the next thing is to have enough belt, which I can basically guarantee I have enough belt to run across. Oh, isn't that just a gloriously straight line? That line is straight. It is perfectly straight. Okay. Right. It would help if I actually connected the pipe into the input of the thingies so that they can actually mine. There we go. We are now mining nickel. Hello, nickel. Now, I'm curious about if I will need nickel plates for any infrastructure. Only atomizers, and I don't really intend on doing anything with atomizers. So the main thing here is the vitrolloy, which will be used to make brakes, intermetallics, and then eventually fast inserters. Eventually. And that is the basic fast inserter recipe. Now, after that, with lubricant, we'll get a 5x15 fast inserter recipe that will take iron niobium alloy, control panel Mark 1s, electronics Mark 1s, and gearbox Mark 1s. Okay. So rather than needing the vitrolloy as vitrolloy, it'll be used, I think, as... I think something in here must use intermetallics. Does any of it use intermetallics, actually? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. So it might just not need the vitrolloy anymore. It'll be nice getting into the fast inserters once we get into logistics science, because that needs logistics science. Oh, why, hello there. Really looking forward to logistics science. Really, really looking forward to it. But it's going to take a while. It will be next week. It will be next week. I'm pretty darn certain when we eventually get... Yeah, whatever. Just put a box. Put a box. Stone. Just as long as the stone isn't in the way of the belt, I don't care. Come on, do the thing. I don't like having my nanobots do this because of the ammo that it's using. It's one unit of ammo is 10 instructions, basically. We are, of course, not building on any antimony. I don't know what you're thinking. We're not doing that. Come on. There we go. So many stones! This is the problem with alien biomes. It's just infinity stones everywhere. They're everywhere. So many infinity stones. You know what? That type of box. That type of box is better type of box. Ahem. That used a lot more ammo. But whatever, I have infinite ammo. Off we go. Clear of rocks, finally. Most rocks. How are we doing on the... We have 300s. At what point do I want to turn down? Soon. Once I clear the chromium... Once I clear the chromium about here, now we'll go down. And I fully intend on, yeah, we're gonna landfill all of the water in the way. Because it's in the way. Even if I can underground it. If it's in the way, it's in the way. Don't want to use undergrounds. Now, how far down are we going? That's the wonderful, glorious question of the day. How far down are we going with this? We're actually pretty close. Ta-da! Oh boy, more not ores. More not ores that we are building on. Why, hello there, lake. It's a shallow lake. I can actually walk on top of it, but we're not gonna. That's better. Oh boy. And that is nickel. Basically just done at this point. Thank you, nanobots, for the rest of this. I'm thinking of turning down... I think it's this guy. I forget. Just... This sound is too loud. Okay, that should have cleaned those belts up. Wait, what? Oh, I was off a tile. Wonderful. Wonderful job, me. But hey, that's the nextlet and the nickel done. Now we can actually get into the antimony. Okay. The plan with the antimony originally was to bring gasoline from here to here, but I have syngas that can go from there to there. So we're just gonna use what I have access to. That's easy. Now, we need gas cans. Fortunately, I have pre-built gas cans. I will need a significant number of them. Not really, but a few. A few, and I built them up near plastic. Near plastic, right down over here. Because these cans need both steel and plastic. And they apparently stack to 20, which sorta sucks. Only stacking to 20, but alright. Oh wells. We'll make do. What I think I am going to do is to solve my fuel issue with the car. Go up and put down a barreling machine at gasoline and just barrel some gasoline. Go there and there. Grab some barrels. I mean canisters. And you can go ahead and, yeah, do that for me. Dolly has returned from the window. Hello, doll. Are you gonna go in the chair? There she is. She's on the chair. How's my girl? Yes, my Dolly. Dolly on the chair. Pretty baby. Behind my head. This is why I like this chair so much. Despite being old, rickety, in need of replacement, I need a chair that can fit a cat. A big cat. At least one big cat. And unfortunately, most chairs for gamers, they can't fit a cat on the back. And are built in such a way that they will not survive cat. So, yeah, they don't work well with cat claws. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to finish using this, pull out the ash, and then it'll go. So this should be 10 megajoules per can. And it will output empty cans. So since I have to go and get gasoline cans, the irony that I'm using gasoline cans for the automobile, by the way, we're totally using gasoline canisters on our automobile. We're going to have to go to where we're making the gasoline canisters, and we'll be able to deposit the empty ones that we get as the spent fuel from this. Okay, we're here. Welcome to Antimony, where I'll need to do exactly what I just did. Oh, right, and power. Right, power. We have two options. We can go from here or from here. I'm thinking from here. But I don't know. I just don't know if 48's gonna be enough. And of course, this is the time I actually draw the perfect diagonal. Of course, this is the time I get the perfect diagonal. Do I still need the diagonal? No. You know, I do need to go down a little bit. You know, I think I'm just short. I think I'm just short. And I don't have any logs on me. Oh no, I have just enough. I have just enough, which unfortunately means I still need more because, you know, we need to do an entire build of power-based stuff. Over there. All right, so let's go get more power poles. I do have them automated. I just need to get to my treated wood. Let's get to treated wood. Should be around here somewhere. Especially if that's saline. Here we are. Hello, treated wood. In the brand new tar processing unit. There we go. Just a few of those would be great. God, building the rails is going to be horrific without having access to even medium power poles, let alone big ones. Oh yeah, that's a logistic science. Oh hey, there's Nexalit power poles. So why would I ever build medium power poles if I could just build Nexalit power poles? These have a supply area of 13 by 13 with a reach of 18. These are like substations. These are like substations. Are these huge? Or are they like tiny? Are they one tile? Regular substation is 18 by 18 with a reach of 18. Nexalit substations are 60 by 60 with a wire reach of 60. And they're cheap. He says, with it being 20 advanced small parts, but at that phase of the game, that's cheap. Really though. Yeah, I want these. I've got concrete, and I've got an excellent. I want these. I want them. I want them. I want them. I want them. And the only thing that is preventing me from getting them is, well, logistics science. I will need niobium for the big power poles, though. Great. So we're still stuck with small power poles, even when I want to get into trains. I may be looking at the concept of going all the way to logistics science before setting up trains, which would not be ideal. Not in the slightest. Okay, antimony miners. These produce 1 per second. I have 16 of them just to keep the belts even. Although you could get away with 15 if you did this type of an arrangement, and if you put everything into boxes along the way with loaders, then you could get away with 15 rather than 16, but not this time. YouTube now says that my audio bitrate is 0. Thanks YouTube for saying wrong info. And of course, oh, this takes rocket fuel. Oh boy, you could put rocket fuel in these, as well as gas cans. Hey, rocket. Unfortunately, these search boxes, they don't work. These search boxes do absolutely nothing. So, yeah, just that's a thing. Rocket fuel. Rocket fuel does not have any spent fuel product. No spent fuel product. Just to keep that in mind. Okay, copy that. Paste across. Copy the whole thing. And paste up there. There we go. Oh, I don't have enough mechanical inserters, of all things. Got plenty of the powered ones. But since none of this uses electricity, why bother? Okay, this needs gas cans. Gas cans! That should be plenty. Okay. That is antimony ore. Huzzah! Let's just ignore the fact that this ore patch is totally just a recolored oil sands and move on from here. This is our very first time ever setting up antimony, since this is a brand new resource. This process is definitely a thing. So, I need to decide where I'm going to do most of this. I'm thinking that I'm going to go all the way up to grade 4 antimony here, if I can. I will have to get rid of a significant amount of gravel, though. I'm just looking at that now. And then we have to do the antimony oxide down here, just because that's where my plastic is. I don't want to bring plastic out here, right? Oh yeah, and we need a significant amount of fuel for the basic oxygen furnaces anyway. So, yeah, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with the gravel. I think that I'm going to have to build a bunch of washers. Oh, good, we have rock wool there. It's right here. It's right here. Use it. So I can burn it. Burning it will be easy with the rock wool literally right here. Okay, crisis averted. Let's just grab the 28 automated screeners. I want to make this clear. These took ages to build. 28 automated screeners took ages to build. They are extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. I don't need these quite yet. Nor do I need the buffs quite yet. Because we're bring the plastic on the bus section. We're just gonna move the grade 4 from here. Yeah, automated screeners. They use 60 steel plates. Actually 65 steel plates each. That's a lot of steel plates, and I was making these after having automated my burner production, and I had 0 steel from the burners. The burners ate all of my steel. So that was fun. I doubled my steel production to accommodate that. So now I have a bit more steel, technically. Now nice and full on steel, but hey, it was limiting. I need it to be able to ramp up. Excuse me? Oh, frick. Where's the empty can? Why do they behave this way? Like, why do inserters behave that way? Like, that's so dumb. And how did you get empty cans? What? What? How did empty cans end up here? The That is super weird. Oh, I see what was going on. I see, because it was... Wow, that's so dumb. All right, I have to pick up and put the machine back down. So it switched the recipe from barreling to unbarreling, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. That should be fixed now. Ahem. Yeah, that should work now. This is a whitelist, yes. It is a whitelist. Oh boy. Crazy. Crazy stuffs. Okay. Step 1, you 8. Gosh, it looks like we're just going to barely get into intermetallics today. But that's okay. Getting any further than that is a stretch goal anyway. I wanted to try to work my way up to CDNA, but oh god, that's going to be a royal pain in the butt process to set up. I'm going to need to go and mine borax before we could do this, and make rubber before we can do this. And we can do that next stream. That's fine. Okay, and Timony, you're going to be outputting a significant number of things, so that's going to necessitate loaders to unload all that. We are most definitely not building on top of an oil sand. That's not happening. Maybe I'll use some of that oil sands at some point, but not now. I need to filter stone. Oh boy, you also produce iron oxide. That's weird. So I need to filter the stone and iron oxide. And then filter the grade 1 antimony. To the right. And since I will burn these, that can just be a mixed belt out. Okay, 8 jaw crushers. Jaw crushing. Wait, excuse me? Oh! The recipe icon. Oh, right, I'm not on alt mode. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the recipe icon? Oh, alt mode. That explains a lot. Now, if this looks a little bit like Pyraw ores processing, that's because it is basically the same as a lot of pyrite ore's processing chains. They begin to all look the same after a while, even though they are all slightly different. They use the same general building structures with a very similar overall design principle behind them, which I guess might be reflective of real life. At least they're supposed to be reflective of real life processing of these things. Wait, what's the volume of these byproduct outputs? We're dealing with 3.6, 5.85, and 0.45. That's less than 15. Blah. This only has stone as the byproduct. Okay, then that'll bring in the gravel from the next step, which, yeah, this one's big. This one's so big that I'm probably gonna have it split into 10. We, of course, are not building on top of any amounts of this ore patch. That would be a very bad thing indeed. This process is going to produce more than 15 items per second of output, and it needs more than 15 per second of input. This makes more than 15 per second of input. But because I've split where I've split here, it should be fine. This is also more than 15. This line is also more than 15. But again, it's fine because of the position of this splitter here. At least it should be fine. But we shall see. I may need to do some additional shenanigans with belts. But yeah, this one down here, this is clearly more than 15. So I'll have to figure something out with that. That may mean I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And we'll just have two identical lines rather than a mirrored line. So basically, we'll have this going across. How much input do you need? 1 per second each? And then the outputs, which for this, no filter there, but the filter on the end of the other one is going to be gravel, because it outputs 585 on the gravel. Gravel, gravel, gravel. Where's the gravel? Where are you? There you are. I'm noticing I have 11 more underground belts. That's slightly disturbing. So then it's copy the whole freaking thing and then paste it down here. With the input like so. Now it's going to not move because I have to still deal with the byproducts, but for now, this is fine. And I may have to get more stuff. We may need a restock mission because I'm about out of belt and I need more belt. Probably more than that. Definitely need more undergrounds. Like 100% I need more undergrounds to do the voiding at bare minimum. Another random crap box. Go, you can do it. Okay, that, as they say, is that. Now, here, these should be able to combine. I just need to filter out the grade 3 antimony to the right. We do have grade 4 here, but we do need to filter it. So that this guy can do its secondary crushing of that grade 3 to grade 4. And that'll go out that way to the bus. Ta-da. Okay. I want one of these here so I can actually see. I'm going to put another one at the rock hole down here. Do I have any mining drills? I do not. Do I have any in the car? I think I had 10 in the car. Car? Do I have mining drills? I do. So 4 mining drills will be an entire belt of throughput on this rock hole. That is not built on the thingy. Okay, going up. That's still not built on the thing. It's right on the edge. So the issue here is that I will be needing undergrounds for my voiding here. We need to be able to void how much crap? $5.85 plus 3.6 plus 0.45, 9.9. So I think we may have just gotten away with it. Just barely. Those mechanical inserters. Alright, I'll just have to use regular inserters then and add power. I'm actually going to reverse this belt because that's where the rock hole's coming in. But yeah, I believe it's 3.3 repeating on each of these. Let me look at that stone. Let me just go to stone, and we can go to the void stone. So it is 1 every 0.3 seconds. So 1 divided by 0.3 is 3.3 repeating. And that is the same regardless of item input. So with 4 of these machines, we should absolutely be able to get rid of all of these byproducts. With just enough underground belts. Oh boy. Where did I park? Way up here. Now to run the belt as far as I can before running out of belt. Yeah, we're gonna run this until it's adjacent to the thingy. For nickel, and then we'll run it down and follow the nickel. Just follow the nickel until I run out of belt. I forgot to connect the last gravel. With a splitter? Or what? The last gravel. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Sucks being one short, huh? Well, as it turns out, I'm not one short at all. Yeah, I have those undergrounds there just to keep this a straight line, so I can have these adjacent to each other, but I don't have to have perfect spacing. I can save those undergrounds. There we go, we're done. Now to use the rest of this belt. Not even close. Not even close. Okay, we'll just ghost entity the rest of this. All the way down the line. But it's not going to go onto the bus. Not as this. It's going to get processed here. So it's just going to do like a U-turn, basically. Because I want it to go in the opposite direction. And fortunately, my belt is right here. I've got belt. I've got a few units of belt just hanging out. And mechanical inserters. I will need to put down another trash chest. You know what? Get rid of some of this underground pipe. It's using up way too much of my inventory space. And yeah, I have a few burners. I have a few burners just hanging out in a chest. Okay, there we go. That's restocks. Build out this belt and we'll be good to go. Oops. Do not want to break those. Definitely do not want to break those. Okay, so that is those 4 steps done. Now, that fuel value of 18.33 is disgusting. I don't like that. I think that they increased the energy requirement on the BOF. Pretty sure they increased the energy rec on the BOF. Because I do not remember it being that high of a number. Oh well. We just gotta deal with it. Which ultimately will mean more raw coal. From where is the question of the century? From where am I going to get 18 raw coal? Well, here's the thing. I've got some coke. Thing is, I need the coke for graphene. Well, graphite, excuse me. And over here for these resistors, etc., etc. I need my coke as coke. And I basically need my coal as well. Thing is, though, I could convert the raw coal to coke. So let me bring up Hellmod here. So if I, or the raw coal to coal, if I bring up coal with its 4 megajoule fuel value, it's 1375. Just as a point of comparison, let's look at this. It's 18.33. 18.33. If I did this, well, that's a bit more than 18.33. But if instead I did this, that's 20.62. But what I could also do is add this recipe again and use this stuff. If we do this way, I only need 11.79 raw coal. It's only 11.79 raw coal. And yeah, there's 1.18 coal dust as well. So theoretically, we could add another copy of this and swap this one to coal dust. Now, 11.07 raw coal. The issue being, of course, I would need to make 12 secondary crushers. So the simpler solution is just run 2 belts of raw coal. And I guess that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I can't believe it's already half an hour left in the stream. And we haven't even gotten the antimony oxide yet. Whoopsies. That's too high. That is 11. Okay. I will share a line with the plastic. So I will need my plastic. Oh joy, it's here. So I don't have a compatibility mod that adds stacking for raw coal. Yes, I have stacking, but I can't stack raw coal. There is no stacking recipe. There's a stacking recipe for coal, and I forgot, I wanted to point out that the stacking recipe for regular coal doesn't output ash. I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out at some point, just to make clear. That's why I won't stack coal, because it isn't outputting what it should output. So even if I added a mod that let me stack raw coal, A, it's going to retain a fuel value as the stack, and B, that stack is not going to output the ash as a spent fuel, which is problematic. It's a bit too cheaty. Okay, bring that across. At least with stacked wood, since wood is a vanilla resource, the wood doesn't have an ash output, so that would be okay. And that would be a higher fuel value, but it's just a pain to get the wood, and I would need more than I'm making on wood. Like wood, I'm making 15 wood per second minus the feedback amount to maintain the wood production through the seeds. So it's like 1436 or whatever is what I currently have on the wood line up here, with requisite moss to support it and then some. But it's not enough for this line. Now, I think the intent is that you're supposed to be using the raw coal outputs, the raw coal processing outputs, which I'm following this belt. What am I using this belt of raw coal for? This belt specifically of raw coal for? It's getting used here. I think I don't need this. I don't actually need this because the new infrastructure replaces it, and even though it's not outputting any coke, because it's voiding all the coke, that would be a change I would make to this array, is that it would output the coke and like use the coke, and overflow void on that. That would be a much better solution, and run the coke down, and I would have enough coke from that line. So if I get rid of that, if I change to coke with its 5 megajoules, well, then it's just 11 coke per second. That's well within the realm of a single belt. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, I will do that. I think I have enough time to do that. Yeah, I think I have enough time. Where is my... One of these things is the tar. I think it's you. Yeah, so in total, I'm getting 40 and a half coke on that line, on the 1,000 tar line. I think I can bring that coke down. I should be using it. I don't know why I designed it to always get rid of all of the coke like that. It's not even necessary. Like, it's not even necessary to even get the 1,000, right? Because it only makes 40 and a half tar. Like, it's making 1,053, even without it at all. Yeah, it just exists. That piece of the infrastructure, these DDCs, they only exist to clear the excess coke because it's a more efficient way of voiding that particular fuel instead of throwing it into burners or into boilers, excuse me. So let's make this edit over here where we're actually using tar. Now, unfortunately, this will mean that I would want to void the excess tar, which I'm not currently doing. You know what? I need the car. I left the car. I sort of want to have the car. Okay. So I'm not even remotely close to using that full 1,000 tar, I think, he says, when the pumping speed on this is over 700 per second on the output. Oh, right, because that's after quenching. Yeah, after quenching, it's using the majority of it, but I think I can get away with 15 coke. That's 8 of these. Oh, looky, that's exactly that. Doink, 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 doink. Hey, I didn't want to overwrite that one. Okay, back in the car. I need to route this. Now, I actually need to route it here. And then that is my infrastructure. Oh god, this stuff. Okay. Didn't I say that? Oh, that was only 4. Duh. 8. It's 8 that we're looking for. 8! Now, I will need to replace those 4 DDCs, but I will do that between streams. For now, I will leave it and just note that I need to replace those DDCs to get rid of overflow. I need to have a splitter with a priority output to the right so that overflow will like go down this way, and I'll tack on 4 DDCs there to get rid of the extra coke. And then the other thing I have to do, because even though this belt line of coke goes all the way down the bus already, is actually at the moment we have an interesting situation down at the tar processing, where I believe that the entire output of this line is going into steam, and it doesn't need to. So you're going down, and meeting up with this guy, and this guy is going to go directly into steam, all of it, because this balance changed. We now output 10 units of coke rather than 30. So I believe that this doesn't even make enough steam to keep the tar cracking going indefinitely. I don't think it quite does. So I actually have a top-up valve input on steam going into the line right here. So this steam ultimately comes from here, from way up here on these 6 lines, making 1,000 steam per second. Yeah, it gets routed all the way around and down to here. That should be all I need to do to have the entire belt of coke available to me. See, that didn't take too long. And now that I know that I have an entire belt, or at least 11, some of it is getting used on graphite, and for circuit production. I believe I still should have about 11 to work with. I went way too far. Hello, stuff things. I should have enough to provide the fuel in on these. Oh, the tricky part. So the tricky part is that this needs to output antimony oxide. It also needs to output ash, and it needs the input of the coke. 1 per second on the coke, mind you. And 1.1 between the plastic and the thingy there. So I do need two input inserters, excuse me, or use loaders up here, because these are 1.2 per second. I don't want to take chances. It will need to do 2 swings. It will always need to do 2 swings, and that limits the throughput to 0.6 on any one without needing another inserter. So I'm going to need to do a little bit of shenaniganery, like so. For you, this will be the coke input line. And because the output is low enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not filter these and let it output the ash and the antimony. I will need 2 inserters to do that, though, for the same reason as the inputs. Just copy and paste. Why, hello, I've been joined by an Ollie. Hello, Ollie. Ollie's grooming. Oh boy, isn't this fun. And this is just for the antimony, let alone the intermetallics. We have like 15 minutes to get into the intermetallics. At least these buildings are perfectly sized for using small electric poles. Okay, just add coke. Yes, I will. Because for whatever reason, I don't think I've ever had this behavior exist before with regular inserters, but with filter inserters, as these are now, they will actually get rid of fuel. Like, they'll get rid of whatever your fuel source is if you have output inserters. You have to specifically blacklist the fuel. Okay. That is antimony oxide. Antimony oxide will exist on the bus. Right there. Okay, that is, as they say, that. At least it should be. Oh yeah, right. Duh. La di 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 da. We did not forget about this. Oh no no no, we did not forget about this. Rather important step. You know, the oxygen. The oxygen. You know what? Just throw the water in on this side. Power. Vent. And oxygen. Oh boy. So, now to get into intermetallics. That should be everything necessary on the intermetallics. I don't know about getting that gasoline down, but we'll see. Probably will have to use the syngas because it's closest. Okay. For this, I should absolutely have everything that I need. I've got copper, antimony, oxide, duralumin, nickel, titanium, and that will make the vitrolloy. We have iron and nexlet, antimony, special alloy from iron, nexlet, and antimony, and those two will combine to make intermetallics. Huzzah! Huzzy huzoo huzzum. You'll note that I'm making 1.1 antimony oxide, and yet my intermetallics are only going to use 0.4 or 0.41, whatever. That's because we'll need antimony oxide for a few other things. Hello, Ollie. How's my boy? How's my boy and how's my dolly? Yeah, babies. The babies. They're just the babies. And that you'll notice I also made 0.5 nexlet when I only need 0.2 for this amount. I made a nickel plate, only need 3.1. I have titanium, I need 0.31 for this, etc., etc. Overproducing is the name of the game. Okay, give me these. And give me... Do I still have... Oh. I think I need to build 3 of these foundries. Whoopsies. Yeah, I am 3 advanced foundries short. So let me get that cleaned up. For these, I'm going to just need iron. Iron, iron, iron! I've got boxes right up here. This is my one-stop shop. Give me 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all that. All that. We're good now. Back it up. Back it up. Backing it up. Okay. Success. Now, you. There. You. There, and you. Doink, doink, doink. Okay. We can work with this. I will need vitrolloy on its own. I will need to actually make more vitrolloy at some point. These belts go down. That is ash. I didn't filter the ash. Right. Get lower. Lower, please. I also am recognizing that I will need to do shenanigans approximately there. Okay, bring in a fuel. Ta-da! Ash. Goodbye. Antimony. Let's clean that up. Just clean up that ash. Still see some. Come on, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Almost done. That's it. The actual oxide tubs get put back now. And that should be that. It's just gotta clear out some backlog on the ash, but we should be good from this point. Okay. Fuel on these buildings. For now, likely just going to be stuffs. Likely just stuff, yeah. Likely just syngas for the moment. What line is that? It is... Oh, of course it's you. Of course it's this line. You know what? I'm not even going to bother putting in the undergrounds because I'm not using this belt yet. This is vacuum tubes and resistors. I'm preparing for making electronics. Okay, there's the stuff. Need another trash box. Get out of my inventory. I think that's enough. Okay. Phew. Come on down, all these. Vitrolloy, you need duralumin, antimony oxide, copper, nickel, and titanium. 5 glorious things. Oh boy. 4, 5, and the output. You need 3 glorious things. 4, 5, blah, 1, 2, and 3, I should say, and then the output, of which none of this is that, and then these outputs are just a combination, or the inputs rather, combination of those two buildings. Okay. These two do not share inputs outside of antimony. Good to know. And this is going to be... Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. So I don't have any... Frick. Yeah, so I don't have any way of seeing what I'm doing here. Okay, that should do it. And then... Okay, just as long as I've got that one straight belt, that should do it for that one as well. Now to do the same thing up here. Oh joy. 0.3 each. That is exact. That is exact. Not for using mechanical inserters. At least on this side of things. We can at least, you know, see what we're doing. That's basically what I just did up top. Okay. Belt running. We have 3 minutes. We need titanium, nickel, duralumin, antimony, and copper. Okay. Titanium and duralumin, I see first on here, so that will be the outside line. The next line is likely copper plus nickel. Copper plus nickel, and the antimony can exist by itself down here, which will make it convenient for me to actually have this be like a nickel, a antimony nexalate line. In that case, if it's antimony nexalate, what I can do is that and have this be antimony nexalate. Yeah. Okay, so that means copper nickel. Whoops. Okay, nickel. There we go. And then antimony oxide plus nexalate down here. Oh boy, how do I do this again? How do I do this again? So I'm looking for it to be on this line. So approximately there. I need to jump this. I need that there. I need you there, that there, that 2 down, you there, that. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Last part is iron. Iron alone. Iron is here. And that is intermetallics. Oh boy. I can't believe it. There's the first vitroloi coming in. Hello, Ave. You made it at the very, very end of the stream, where I have just now obtained iron nexlet antimony special alloy, or my intermetallics here, as well as the vitroloi for it. Oh God. This has been special. I totally expected to get this done much more quickly than I ended up doing, but whatever. There were distances involved in all of this that added to the time. Plus, we had a lot of discussion about the beta update, what's changed in the beta update, the things that I did off screen, just a mild amount of scaling that I've done off screen between streams, just very, very mild scaling. Yeah, but hey, we've got intermetallics now to the tune of 0.2 per second of intermetallics. That was a thing. That was the main goal of the day today, and I did it. Phew. I still need to get into borax, hot air, rubber, lab instruments, retrovirus, Zogna, and plasmids for cDNA. What the heck does that do? What do you mean? This? Are you referring to this? Because this is power and steam. Or are you referring to intermetallics? This? You know, this thing? This build? What? Yeah, because this guy is power and steam. So this section is 1,000 steam per second from 12 belts of raw coal. So 12 raw coal belts processed exclusively into steam, of which I'm using over like 700, 800-ish of that steam at the moment. The rest is power from raw coal. And yeah, this is the mining. And in total, this is using over 22,000 units of belt and 2,000 inserters. It's a little bit of infrastructure. Fortunately, with intermetallics now built, I have alternative energy options. We can start building. Well, most of the inputs here on being able to make some things. Not all of them, but some things. Where is the title generator? And will I need yeah, I will need fish. I will need fish to do some of this alternative energy stuff. Intermetallics was just one of the blocking things on a number of these, but Intermetallics was blocking on compost plants, and now I can build compost plants, meaning I now have access to biomass. Oh boy, that's wonderful. Hey, don't knock down my water, cat. Big boy. Don't knock down my water. Yeah. So that was a big one. Being able to get into compost plants with intermetallics, just there's so much that we need the intermetallics for. We need it for automated factories. Hey, automated factories. We need these for specific recipes. There are recipes where we cannot actually use burner factories, where we must use automated factories. So yeah, that's great. We can build these now. I can apparently build ball mills now, as well as pie chemical plants. Yeah, pie chemical plants, because the vanilla chemical plants no longer exist. We have a pie variation. We also have classifier access, rectisols, cooling towers. Yeah, cooling towers. We can do pie roboports once I have batteries, that is, which I don't have batteries at the moment. But once we do, we'll have that. And once we have batteries, we can do construction Pinobots as well. Or do I have regular batteries? Do I have regular batteries? I don't think I do. Yeah, because that's lead antimony alloy. Hey, we can sort of work on setting up batteries, but we will need urea for that cyanic. Locomotives will need intermetallics, but we will need fish. We will need fish to make locomotives. Why? Because we need fish oil to make gearboxes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the rest of this stuff is going to need fish oil in order to craft it, or melamine resin in order to craft it, which that's going to need urea, which is going to need OGs. So next order of business is cDNA, so I can get into OGs. I need to get into OGs for manure. I need to get into OGs for manure, for urea, for melamine resin, etc., etc. Blah. Yeah, there's lots of progression sort of blocked by existent amounts of cDNA. We don't need to consume infinite cDNA. We don't have that as a demand yet. We just need an amount to make our first copies of OGs and cotton guts and Relesia. And I think those are the only three I need the cDNA for. And we need all of those things to get into logistics science. Just casually. We need these things: OGs and cotton gut studs and Relesias. Yeah. Now we fished up fish out of water, so we can also set up fish, and we will need to set up fish on top of everything else as we work towards getting into logistic science packs. And a lot of the logistic science pack items are also used in cDNA. So it's, even though I don't need the actual cDNA yet, I still need ingredients for cDNA provided onto the bus. But yeah, this is a list. The order of operations for next time we meet. Yeah, that's going to be getting into... well, ultimately, the goal is to get into cDNA on Thursday. The actual order of operations is going to be borax, followed by hot air and rubber, followed by lab instruments and retrovirus and Zogna bacteria, plasmids, and then cDNA. Because, yeah, we sort of need these things called optical sets, and that needs borax processing. We also need hot air as part of this process to get into cDNA. Yeah, we need... Yeah, it's borax, it's hot air, it's rubber for the lab instruments, and also the retrovirus. And we could just we can make Zogna now. Technically, I need to scale some of the petri dishes though to get into that. And yeah, getting into the plasmids, that's Zogna. But I think we can get that done next time, just to at least get the existent amounts of cDNA so that I can off-screen build like the first Og, Relesia, and Cotton Gut studs, and we'll do the setups for the actual automated production of them and the breeding of them and cycling of the modules. We'll do that on Tuesday, most likely, as we work towards just going into logistics science at that point, because it's like, well, we've gone most of the way towards logistics science, may as well go the rest of the way towards logistics science, and then have logistics science unlocks to get into the rail transition. Because even though I could do the rail transition, I don't like that I don't have access to the to better power poles beyond just small power poles. I would like to actually be able to build the Nexalit power pole, because that freaking sounds amazing, and have blueprints for rails designed around the concept of using Nexalit power poles. But to do that, I need logistics science. So, yeah. I also want to use bots, and I can't use bots until logistics science. So, yeah, that'll be a thing. With that, though, 12 minutes over, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been a Talking Show, but if you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/talkingshow. But if you are so inclined and able, I will, of course, be back with more on Thursday. I hope to see you all then.